So I'm here today uh, as part of our community engagement initiative, in which we report to the community, to the world, on activities and updates related to the West Tampa CDC. So let's talk about some of the initiatives that we want to highlight. These initiatives that all projects that we're about to talk about are only ones that we highlight, but we also have other initiatives that we're working on. The first initiative, and we've been talking about this initiative since 2019, is the West Tampa Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Center. We've done at least 45 meetings on this particular initiative since 2019, either face to face or online. The Technology Center, just to talk about that particular component, is so critical at this point in our time, is because in a blink of a minute, what we know as society and how what we call normal is going to all change with technology. If we're not training residents, especially in underserved and marginalized communities, how they can use technologies to remove barriers and change the narrative, then as a people, especially in marginalized community, it will leave us behind. The Wealth Building Center is focused on the fact that, as a whole, African Americans think like consumers instead of investors. We'll talk more about that. And the combination of the Technology Center and the Wealth Building Center leads to the Job Creation Center. The second agenda item or initiative that's going on in West Tampa is the West Tampa Public Safety Initiative. This initiative focusing on focuses on how do we create economic opportunities to reduce crime in general, and particularly crime related to street violence. This initiative looks at opportunity, creating opportunity, economic opportunity approaches to lead to that particular desired result. We'll talk about that more separately when we talk about that initiative in our upcoming community meeting. The next initiative is what we titled the Community Engagement Initiative, in which we're engaging in keeping the community update on the different activities that's going on. For example, this is our quarterly update. We also want you to don't forget we have our community meeting coming up in late January. These are the online meetings that we do, virtual online meetings that we do. And we're waiting for the West Tampa Library to open back up again so we can start doing our face-to-face meetings. The West Tampa Community Initiative is an initiative that's unique in that it looks at the silent majority in the communities that do not attend meetings or are not really informed as to the activities that's going on in their community, and more importantly, are not able to have a process in which they can give input. The West Tampa Community Engagement Initiative changes that narrative. And we're doing it in a couple ways by using all formats in social media and connecting with residents, shareholders. We use what's known as Nextdoor, which is a service used to connect to specific neighborhoods and update on what's going on in the neighborhood, as well as our massive email campaign, in which we have a mass email of all of the residents and programs and projects and shareholders in West Tampa that we send out to keep the community abreast. We also use that email component for our survey forms, in which we're constantly getting input from the community on an array of things. That's how we keep up to date, is to do these email surveys to get feedback from the community on different activities. And finally, it's the West Tampa Public Safety Initiative. The Public Safety Initiative is focused on reducing the critical health issue in West Tampa, specifically related to African Americans. It is a community health initiative based on best practices from around the nation. You're going to be impressed with how folks from around the country communities from around the country are initiating a bottom-up community initiative to create health. One of the things we're going to talk about is holistic medicine as part of the way of creating a healthier community. But that's one of many components that we're going to be talking about in the public health initiative. Now let's move to the next part of the presentation. And this is the Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Initiative. This part of that initiative talks about a network, access clearing network that we're creating. The major focus of this network is to connect residents to businesses and to connect businesses to residents. Also, to connect businesses to business. Okay, let's talk about the program as a whole. We're using what's known as the access mapping. Access mapping is the process of identifying the resources, skills, and capacities of individuals. So you can map that out. It also involves access mapping related to accessing businesses, mapping businesses as well as business opportunity. This network connects residents to economic opportunities, be it getting a job or to provide an opportunity for them to start their own business, anything related to economic development. It matches resident skill sets with potential opportunities. It also matches community desired businesses with land use. For example, it gives residents an opportunity to weigh in on what type of businesses would you like to see to come to the community based on the land use, especially on commercial. And how do we reach out to those different types of businesses even if it means the residents starting their own type of business to create in the community. The last part of this network includes matching businesses with potential business opportunities. You know, earlier we talked about the home, no, we haven't talked about the home-based business, but it's going to make sense later on related to connecting businesses to potential businesses. The technology center, and we talked about this earlier, when we talked about the technology, growth building, and job creation center as a whole. Now we'll break them up into the different components. The first component of that is the technology center. I can't overemphasize that with the new technology that's moving with lightning speed, if especially marginalized communities are not given that resource and access to use it as an opportunity to create an opportunity for success for them to change the quality of their life. So this technology offers that benefit. Without, for those who don't benefit from this technology drive that's going on, then they'll be further left behind. This initiative looks at how do we connect the most vulnerable, the most likely to be living in poverty to technology to change that narrative. That's the major focus of the Technology Center. It does this in two ways. First, providing training to residents and understanding technology. That training includes mobile application, software development, game application, artificial intelligence. It's a game changer. If we're not versed in understanding how artificial intelligence is changing everything, especially if you live in underserved and marginalized community, then we're in big trouble. This program changed that narrative by teaching how artificial intelligence and other types of intelligence can change the narrative and create economic and social opportunity and changing the quality of the life. With artificial intelligence, chat, GPT, and other types of like chat GPT technology. Web3 is going to change the whole narrative when it comes to economic development. For those of you that's not familiar with what Web3 is, Web3 is based on blockchain technology, and it incorporate concepts such as decentralization and token-based economic. I'm not going to get in depth about this, but I can tell you Web3 is going to change the narrative when it comes to curating wealth in the poorest of the poorest of the community. And of course, there's a mega universe, another universe that if we're not versed, especially in communities that's most marginalized in this technology, again, we're going to be left behind. I'm excited because this technology is going to change the narrative, even when it comes to education in our family schools, public schools throughout the United States. This artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, for example, will be able to have that student come in front of it and assess that student's weakness and strength and build a tailor-made program. So on how to create an opportunity for that student to increase their grade levels. This technology was normally limited to the elite. It's going to change the narrative when it comes to African American kids who are falling behind in school, and how now artificial intelligence can bring them up to par. And if we reduce the number of folks that are failing in school, guess what? You reduce the level of crime. Now, part B of this technology center is focused on how do we increase the knowledge of technology as an approach to level the playing field in communities of color. This is going to change the narrative when it comes to how do we remove those barriers to economic development, specifically in marginalized communities. The Performing Art and Production Center is based on research that shows that this type of program can be used to reducing the level of violence, specifically in poor communities, by attracting, exciting, educating, transforming, and building wealth for those individuals that's part of that culture of violence. And also as a way of creating income by monetizing the talent of residents that live in West Tampa. So the different components include a recording company, and video/TV production, radio production, and an entertainment center. This looks at monetizing the talent of individuals because West Tampa has so much talent that can be monetized and create a source of income. For example, we're reaching out to the different businesses that's in West Tampa, combine the talent to create a video or TV production piece for them to use when they advertising or doing promotion. That's just part of what we plan to do and monetizing the talent in West Tampa. The other thing is also including creating what we call personalized and individual target type of research. For example, if you're getting married and you want a special poem, well, we have that creative talent to create that for a fee. If you are, and you know, men, you always are like this, you know how we are, in a bad situation with your significant other, and she's not happy with you, and you are hoping to produce some type of videos that's organic and that is unique that you can present to her to show that you feel sorry. I know I messed it up, but you see what I'm saying? There's so many ways that we can use this to make money. For example, if you are giving a birthday and you want a special video production, and then this goes on how we can use this initiative. In the entertainment center, so many ways that we can produce product The home-based e-commerce initiative is looking at bringing on board anywhere from 40 to 60 new resident business owned, both part-time and full-time, within uh, the next 5 years. We talked about artificial intelligence, and ChatGPT is going to play a critical role in this particular um, part of the initiative here. The other thing that's going to play a critical role is we talk about the assets mapping network, how we're going to be able to connect businesses that we get started through this initiative to other businesses and individuals that might need that particular service. So part of the initiative is what we call e-commerce. That is starting your own e-commerce business, be it drop shopping, Shopify, online stores, um, YouTube channels, blogging. All that is related to being able to create a side hustle. As you know, one type of drop shopping is that you can be a popular person and be able to use that popularity by creating an online store of products in which you have a connection with, like a Walmart or something like that, in which you get the merchandise at a cheap price in order to sell, to someone. This is one opportunity of making money using the e-commerce. You can actually not even have a warehouse and be able to say, hey, someone want to pay a tennis shoe for 150, and you can find that same pair of shoes for 130 and 130, and you can sell it to that person, and at the same time get a piece of money from that. So that's one way you can do it. So it includes YouTube channels of making money as well. Home based, there are over 100 different types of home based businesses that you can create. The uniqueness about a home based business is that it cut costs. You don't have to worry about the cost of doing a brick and mortar type of business where you have an office that you have to incur not only money in leasing the building, and paying for insurance in the building, in terms of the utilities in the building, and that list goes on and on. A home-based business allows you to create a business, but not one that requires a bricks and mortar. For example, let's talk about some of the different types of home-based businesses. Again, there's over 100 types of business. Cleaning service, landscaping, cake making, homemade products, pack rooming, and that list goes on and on and on. Definitely social media, you can use this as a mechanism to make money. I see all the time people that are making money on social media, especially when it comes to e-commerce, and they selling things. And they started their own little channel in which they have their own client. There are so many ways to make money. And this home-based business is going to provide that opportunity. The other thing is that because we know there's a need to provide opportunities of success for specific groups, like senior citizens, at-risk youth, low income, people with criminal records, the disability, and those that are on fixed income, and those families that are struggling. Because of that, this program is focused towards them in Pacific and others in general. It matches businesses with potential customers. We talked earlier about the network, mapping network that we want to start. This is the way we're going to be able to connect those businesses with potential customers. And there's a lot of potential customers using the strategy that we use that residents with their product can be matched with. We're talking about full-time income for that individual or part-time. Part-time is specifically for the senior citizen who's on fixed income or someone that's struggling with two jobs and they barely making it and they want to use another source of income. They specifically want to use their talent, to modernize whatever their talent is, so they can create a side business in order to meet the ever demanding on the strains of income. And at the same time, not have to work 3 and 4 jobs. Community Wealth Center is going to be a game changer. We know that we know that at least 1.6 to $1.7 billion is spent a year by African Americans. We are the largest consumer group in the United States. This Community Wealth Center moves from teaching the individual, especially the poor individual, from moving from a consumer mindset to an investor mindset. The investment center moved residents from thinking like from moving from a consumer to thinking like an investor. So we focus on starting at age 9 and up, teaching residents how to make money work for them. The question is money working for you or are you working for money? If you are a consumer, you are working for money. If you're an investor, money is working for you. So these workshops are going to be in-depth workshops on understanding investment and building a foundation for good investment. Anywhere from crypto to NFTs to stocks and bonds and other different ways of investment to get the highest return on your investment. This even includes creating investment groups in the community where residents and community people start their own investment groups in order to make investment. Believe it or not, it doesn't take that much money to put your money into an investment. As a matter of fact, you can really take dollars and make an investment in like a stock that's worth 150. You invest you invest dollars in that, and you'll get a portion of that back.
This is a reminder. Call about bus tickets.
Okay, so then this becomes important to
This is a reminder. Call about bus tickets.
Changing the narrative in the community when it comes to investment. We think the key to changing the narrative is technology and wealth building and moving residents that are consumers to residents that are investors. The key to changing the narrative is technology and wealth building and moving residents that are consumers to residents that are investors.
'This is a reminder. Call about bus tickets. This is a reminder. Call about bus tickets.
Okay, so then this becomes important to the investment Okay, so we come down to the moolah. Where do we plan to get the money in order to do this? Okay, let me move me around for a second. Yeah, let me put me here. Well, we're looking at funding from a number of different sources. Let's look at the technology center. First of all, before I go into this, and let me tell you how we operate our business model. Our business model operate on first finding the money and then doing the project or program. Oftentimes, a lot of people start this the opposite. They start with the program or project, and then they go to look for money. We do that's the opposite. We find the money, and then we create the program. That being said, let's look at the different projects that we have going on, the startup costs, and the funding source. For the technology center, we're looking at a startup cost of $65,000. And we're looking at monies from tech companies, foundations, corporations, governments, and other sources in order to meet that startup cost. The Performing Arts Center, we're looking at $75,000. Here, we're going to be looking for money from the entertainment world, from the hip hop world, from Bell Foundation, corporation, government, and other sources. Related to our business center and community virtual incubator center, we're looking at $70,000. Now, here we're looking at monies from lenders, investors, foundation, corporation, government, fundraising, and others. Our community wealth center is going to be looking at wealth center. Sorry about that. Our community wealth center is looking at $150,000. Again, this coming from lenders, investors, foundation, corporation, government, etc. Part of the community wealth center includes creating businesses that's operated by the West Tampa CDC. So part of this community wealth center includes getting startup money so that we have two ways of bringing in money into the CDC, both the normal grants and foundations, and also earn income now as a mechanism through owned and operated businesses. There's so many businesses that the CDC could get started in which residents are actually hired to run those businesses. And that way, money stays in the community instead of leaving the community, like is so often the case. So we're talking about a total of $360,000, which when I look at it, is not that much money. As you know, I'm what's known as a massive grant writer. And I know as a grant writer, that's over 150,000 foundations and corporations that give money throughout the United States. So the problem for us is not a problem in terms of when it comes for the money to fund these programs. Again, this is just some of the initiative that we have coming up for 2024. As promised, we will keep the community engaged in what we're doing. Be on the lookout for the different surveys that we send out by way of email, and we also send these surveys by way of our social media because we always want to hear about what is it when it comes to your community that you want to see in your community. We want to know from you what's right and what's wrong so that we can begin to engage to make it the community that you wanted it to be. Again, It gives me a pleasure to bring up the most recent updates to the community and uh, our different shareholders. So I hope this helps. And we look forward to you attending our next meeting, virtual meeting, which is on the 18th of January or late in January, the mid and late January. And we'll be posting it on Facebook related to that. That's going to be a virtual meeting in which we're going to start to talk about what works around the country in terms of community building in some of the most devastated neighborhoods in the United States. And our model in terms of how we see a, a putting together a pathway to success for all residents where no resident is left behind. The other initiative that we didn't talk about that we do plan to bring into play into 2024 is the affordable housing, providing, we was in that market. So the other initiative we plan to bring on board, to bring back on board, is affordable housing, given the current crisis here in the United States, and specifically in Florida and Pacific in Tampa. So if you need to hit us up at the West Tampa CDC at gmail.com. Again, West Tampa CDC at gmail.com to learn about the many things that we have going on in the community. So I hope you enjoyed the outcome, the upcome. I hope you enjoyed the update. See you in 3 months.